Give all praises to the Most High, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh, and the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which in the ancient Hebrew is the Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders of GMS, who taught us his truth by the Holy Spirit. Honors to the brothers risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Peace and blessings to the elect, who would be the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel according to scripture and prophecy. The elect would be one third of the Israelites who in the last days will return back to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to receive salvation, while the two-thirds of Israel who don't turn back to the Most High in time be destroyed with America, and that's all according to prophecy. We back with another lesson through the mercy of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Lesson is going to be titled, All Religion is Idol Worship and a Curse. All religion is idol worship and a curse. And we're going to show that in the scriptures, that all religion, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, nigger culture, being westernized, being Americanized, that's all idol worship. Everything outside of this truth, everything outside of the words of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah is idol worship. And we're going to show that. And again, that includes Christianity and every other religion, or doctrine or belief system. It's all idol worship. And it would be idol worship to our people, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians. We're not supposed to indulge in idol worship. So this ain't got nothing to do with the other nations. They can do what they want for now. The Lord ain't concerned with them right now. And we're going to show that. That's why when you get Ecclesiasticus 17:17, it say, for in a division of the nations, all people of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion. So the Lord chose to rule over Israel himself. That's why he's known as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The other nations, they got their rulers, their kings, their emperors. In other nations, they got their gods, which are idols. And when we get this in the book of Psalms 96:5, for all the gods of the nations are idols. That includes Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So whatever the white man, whatever he worship and calls it God, whatever he worships to as God, that's an idol. That's your white Jesus, Jehovah, whatever he call them. That's an idol. Again, for all the gods of the nations are idols. If Esau is praying to something, you probably shouldn't be praying to it. Because Esau, he's part of the other nations. And guess what? Their gods are idols. But the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, made the heavens and the earth. So yeah, this is dealing with our people Israel, and anything outside of the Bible, anything outside of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is idol worship. And guess what? Hey, people can use the Bible, but if not broken down correctly and understood correctly, and it's misinterpreted, it falls into the category of idol worship. And that's what Esau the white man do. He give you a white-faced Jesus, a white-faced Jehovah, white baby angels, and then puts the Bible next to it. Now that's idol worship. Still, it's either the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It can't be a mix. You can't mix a true and a lie. There's no such thing as half-truths. So dealing with this truth, people think that it's a religion. This ain't nothing like Christianity, nothing like being a Muslim. This ain't got nothing to do with being a Buddhist. Because of religion, anybody can come into it. That's not the case with the truth. The truth is only for the Israelites. I believe the Lord said in the book of Micah, he will perform the truth to Jacob. And with Christianity, you could be, see, that's the thing with the religions of the world. You could be a Christian today and a Buddhist tomorrow, and then go back to being a Christian with no penalty. That's not the case, sir. With Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, there's a penalty for not being part of this. Which again, this is not a religion. This is a way of life. This is a lifestyle. And we're going to show that. And religion, again, that's idol worship. And that has been nothing but a curse to our people. Our people indulging in the religions of the world, that's a curse to our people. And we're going to show that in the scriptures. So we're going to start here in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. When you read verses 1 through 14, those are the blessings for obedience. When you read Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68, those are the curses for disobedience. So let's open up here. Deuteronomy 28, 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So the Lord about to give us a list of curses that will happen to our people for disobedience. In the hint, when you look at the people to the right, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, look at the conditions that we live in. We under them curses right now. Look at ICE, dealing with the so-called Latin Americans, so-called Black Americans. Hey, look how we've been oppressed and at the bottom this whole time. Those are the curses. Now, let's jump down to the verse 64. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. How was we scattered? The transatlantic slave trade. It didn't just scatter so-called Black people. It also scattered so-called Native Americans, Mexicans, and Latin American people. And in fact, the Latin American, Native American people, so-called, they went on slave ships first. The Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other. It says, and there thou shalt serve other gods. So that's idol worship. So the Lord's telling us, after we go into slavery all over the earth, we're going to fall into religion. We're going to fall into religion and idol worship, which that's what religion is idol worship. Thou shalt serve other gods, religion, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And what's the wood represent? That's Christianity. That's the cross. That's what the wood represent. And the stone, for people who know about the black stone, the Mecca stone, that goes into Islam and being a Muslim. So we got that our people will be scattered to the four corners of earth in the slavery, and after being scattered, they will fall into religion. So now we're going to go to the book of First Maccabees and show that religion is idol worship. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. This is dealing with the time of the Greeks. This is an Apocrypha, which was removed from the Bible by you-know-who. And we know Greeks are dealing with so-called white people who are Edomites. The Greeks who would then be called the Romans, who are now called Americans, Europeans, etc. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. So what? Antiochus wanted all the nations to leave the heritage of their forefathers. They wanted all the nations to discontinue from their heritage and take on Greek culture. And what it say? All the heathen agreed. But guess what? The Lord didn't care. Because why? Ecclesiastes 17:17. For in the division of the nations of the earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion. So right now, the Lord don't care what the heathen nations do. That's why they all consented. Now let's continue. It says, yeah, many also of the Israelites. So many of the Israelites too consented, meaning they agreed to his religion. Now it's about to detail what religion is. Many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols. That's idol worship, and profaned the Sabbath. So religion, which is idol worship, is pretty much worshiping idols and not keeping the commandments. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should all follow the strange laws of the land. Strange meaning unfamiliar, different. And you see what great effort Antiochus put into it. He sent messengers by letters through all the Jerusalem and the cities of Judah to get these people to discontinue from the commandments. It says, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and feast days, not festival as in a party, but the feast days, which would be the holy days. So you see, this is all about breaking the commandments, it being abominable. It says what? And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. So religion is about taking the people who are holy. Holy means to be set apart. And what set us apart? The Lord entered into a covenant with us and gave us the commandments. He like civilized us, cleaned us up. So religion is about polluting and defiling the Lord's people. The effects of religion, defiling and polluting the other nations, the Lord don't give a damn about. But his people were polluted. That's where we at today with it. That's why when you think of the Bible, so-called white man pop up in your head. That's why when you think of an angel, a naked Edomite baby pop up in your head. That's why you want salvation for everybody. You being defiled. So continue. And set up altars and groves. That would be the churches today. The churches, the clubs, the rap studio, and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. So our people completely defiled and polluted at this point. It says that they should also leave their children uncircumcised. Circumcision is a part of hygiene, being clean, preventing whatever illnesses that come with uncircumcision. So polluted our people mentally and physically, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. That go into LGBTQ, sacrificing your children or the elderly to these other gods. That's why I said all manner of uncleanness. Think about all the BS our people get into now. The things that you know of, the things that you can't imagine. That's all. That all comes with religion. It says to the end that they might forget the law. See that? Forget the commandments. Forget Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and change all the ordinances. So religion was a curse unto our people. It did major damage to our people. And again, religion is an idol worship and a curse. So scrolling back up to verse 41 or maybe 43, many Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. And what was the point? To the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And this how serious it was that they get Israel to go off. Whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So that's idol worship. But again, when the Lord gave our people, the commandments, enter into a covenant with us, it wasn't religion. It was a way of life. Because as we mentioned earlier, you can be a Christian today and a Muslim tomorrow. And you could be a Egyptologist the day after. And nothing changes. Nothing happens, good nor bad. You could be an atheist after that, and then you can go back to being a Christian all over again. And nothing happens, good nor bad. Why? Because it's all fake. Jesus, fake. He can't judge nobody. Allah and whatever else you people believe in, it's all fake. But see, dealing with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, what he gave us, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of life to be prosperous, fruitful, to have prosperity as a nation of people. Now we're gonna show that real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 19 and 19. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. So these are the commandments of life. How we should live as a nation of people to live a happy, prosperous, fruitful, meaningful life that's actually worth living. The life that we live in America now ain't worth living. This ain't how life's supposed to be. Believe it or not, once upon a time, it didn't used to be like this. The knowledge of the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is a doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive of the fruit of the tree of immortality. What are the things that please him? Keeping the commandments. But again, it's a doctrine or a way of life. So meaning what? Um, this truth, this doctrine of life, the commandments, you can't just come in and out of this as you please. And we're gonna show that because come matter of fact, let me go here real quick. We're gonna show that you can just come in and out of this as you please. You know, when you be a Christian, do you stop being a Christian? There's no penalty. When you become a Muslim and stop being a Muslim, there's no penalty. Why? Because it's all fake. But look at this. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, death and evil. So keeping the commandments, that's the life and good. Not keeping the commandments, death and evil. So there's a real penalty with this. And people say they Christian, but don't keep none of their Christian ways. It says, and that I command thee this day to love Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai thy God, to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. See that this is about living in prosperity, being fruitful as a people, thriving as a nation of people. So there's a reward and a penalty with this truth, with this covenant. It says, and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But check this out. If thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, you don't keep the commandments, you don't keep the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods, that's religion. And it ain't gotta just be religion in the sense of being in a temple and praying to a god. Hey, being a rapper or being a nigga in black culture, that's a religion. Or whatever else people into these days, those are different forms of religion. It says, and worship other gods and serve them, I'd announce unto you this day that you should surely perish. Don't nobody die when they leave Christianity. Don't nobody perish when they stop being a Buddhist. Why? Because it's all fake. It says, and that you should not prolong your days upon the land whether thou passes over Jordan to co-possess it. Yeah, so again, there's an actual penalty for leaving this truth. Unlike Christianity in the modern sense, unlike being a Muslim, unlike everything else these people believe in, there's no penalty associated with it because it's fake. And that's why when we get this in the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 4, 4, verse 1, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High. And we know this will be the commandments of the doctrine of life. And the law that endure forever. All that keep it, all that keep the commandments shall come to life, that you may live and multiply. But such as leave it shall die. So when you leave this truth, you die. Unlike with the white man's Jesus Christianity, because that's a religion that's all made up. But with this, hey, people die. Look at them. And we also going to jump here in the book of First Corinthians, Chapter 12, we're going to start at verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that you were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols. That's religion, even as ye were led. Okay, so it talks about the Gentiles, which we know this would be the Israelites who were scattered, who discontinued from their heritage, who lived the life of a heathen as an Israelite, but it says brethren, which this word, when we look into it, is going to further prove that the Gentiles being talked about here were the Israelites who discontinued from their heritage, who wasn't raised keeping the commandments and the holy days, but grew up under Gentile customs. So we're going to get this word brethren over here to the right. Excuse me. Actually, hold on. Verse 1. G80. Let's see who the brethren are so we can see who Paul is speaking to. So here we go. It says, a brother, whether born of the same two parents or only of the same mother and father. Part 2 is the point. Having the same national ancestor. So what? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, belonging to the same people. That's the same nation or countryman. So brethren goes to having the same national ancestor. So all the people who can call Abraham, Isaac, and then Jacob their forefather. The only people who can claim Jacob as their forefather would be the 12 tribes. So now we know this is addressing the 12 tribes. Now concerning gifts, brethren, the 12 tribes, I would not have you ignorant, ye know that you were Gentiles. And what made them Gentiles? Carried away unto dumb idols. That's religion. Now let's go back to that in First Maccabees 1 and 43. Many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrifice unto idols. So you got religion and idols in the same verse. So now when it says you were carried away unto dumb idols, we know that that's religion, even as you were led. So yeah, religion is idol worship and a curse. It's been nothing but a curse to our people. Completely destroyed the minds of our people. Religion that further separated us from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. It'd be nothing but a curse to our people in this idol worship. White man's Christianity, you going to church on Sunday, putting in money in the collection plate, a white man's face pop up when you pray. It don't seem that bad, but it's a capital offense. So yeah, religion is idol worship and a curse. It's been nothing but a curse to our people. So we want to show that this is what we part of here. It's not a religion. It's a way of life. And then what will also make this real is prophecy. The gods of the nations, being a Muslim, being a Christian, praying to Jesus, that's not informing you of prophecy. That's not warning you of what's to come. So that's what also separates, this truth from religion. Hey, none of that stuff is preparing you people for the future. But this truth is. So, Lord, what another informative edifying. Till next time, Shalom.